Check. So
Got it. Yes.
now we are on to meet
Yes.
for a little talk. Super.
Yes. But, first, I want because you told me you were in Finland, and you only had women in the group.
Yes.
Is it different if you only have females in the group? Is it different from when you have both, or if there is balance?
I mean, for me, in a way, it is not really different because I see, like, besides men and women, I see, I see humans that come to this. Everybody makes the experience, but of course, it's also different. But it's also quite usual that there is more women coming to this. For I think also there's many reasons why that is, but it's like, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. And I'm curious about this because I was also curious when I came in February. I really liked your workshop. I mean, I really felt it was deep layers, and I thought when I would come that okay, this I'm gonna go there, and I'm maybe I'm gonna then become a family consultant. Then I can maybe learn this. But when I saw you work, I thought, okay, no, I'm not gonna learn this. I will just go. I will just attend with people that have really deeply studied it, like you have done. Uh, uh, is it different? Every group you get, is it like, do they bring different energies or different qualities? So is it really like you like always come to like an open, you never know what energy will come uh, into the course you're doing? Or is it truly like our bodies are just like a portal for the energy that wants to come through? How do you experience this? Or how is this?
I mean, so for me, I'm like, hmm, I never know what happens. I mean, this is a bit the mystery of this work that I'm like, I'm always open for the topics that people bring. I don't have like a ready plan. I don't have like a scheme or a ready method that I'm doing things with. I really try to be really open every time somebody brings another topic, another issue, another conflict or challenge. But then, in a way, for me, it also is always the same. So I have also like a routine because what I do know, what is always the same is I will talk to the person that wants to do a healing work. I will ask this person what their wish for healing is, where they want to go with the work. And then, like, my work is a bit like the work of a detective. I'm like searching in the history of this person for like the trauma or the wound, or like in the personal life or in the family life that is really blocking the healing. So I'm kind of like this. I do know, and I have like my pathways to search for what the blockage is, and I have also my pathways for what I can, how I can support the person to resolve it. So in that sense, over the years, I have some routine, but then yeah, it's every time new. It's a bit also like a art. I have my things, how I do things, how I work with people, but then every piece of work is completely new. It's like completely new and often, yeah, a mix of
Mhm,
technique and improvisation also. Yeah.
mhm. Do you have like some no-nos? Is it like, do you sometimes like, no, I'm not gonna go into that? Or is it really like if you feel, okay, this is tough, then you go there? Or do you have like some, ah, is this something, or do you follow there is the most darkness, or there is the most, or I'm just wondering how, if there's something you're afraid of.
I mean, there's many things I'm afraid of in life, but I think with no-nos, you mean if there's something like a wound or a trauma that feels like, oh, I cannot go there because it's too intense. And no, 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 no. I mean, I mean, I'm doing this now for more than 10 years, and I've seen and worked with some like also intense and deep layers of the human soul and psyche. And the thing like with this trauma-informed approach that I do is if I really discover something that is really like deep and a part of the person's like soul that is really like shattered and fragmented, I do work with it bit by bit, not bringing the whole like I don't know, black hole or whatever it is into the center, but seeing what is like what is a reasonable step, what is a digestible step also for a person to go today. So therefore I'm not like afraid of this because it really makes a lot of sense to yeah to go step by step.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, uh, yes, you've already answered some of my questions. This is very nice.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, yeah, I'm still interested in the group that shows up, like mm, like in Finland, you only had women or something like this. But I'm also interested because when I came in February, we were not only Icelanders, like half of the group or more have roots in Europe. And all of them in the work with you went up the line to grandparents that were in the Second World War.
Mhm.
And for me as an Icelander, it was really like, wow, I have no knowledge of this in my body somehow, but all of them, it was really deeply affected them in their family lines or something like this. And in connection to this, I wanted to ask you, do you feel, because you've been working in Sweden, Finland, Germany, Iceland, do you feel like a different national traumas that come up again and again, like big traumas that you recognize in different countries?
Yes. So yeah, yeah, nice question. I mean, last time we really had people from like Poland, France, Germany, Iceland, and or also like mixed families. And of course, it's like I mean, the constellation work looks really a lot um, how the trauma is carried through the generations. And then, of course, every country has its own like challenge and hardship. And like you say, like in Iceland, there was like maybe I mean, there's a total different history, like in the last 100 years than, for example, compared to I don't know, like Germany or France with so much war activity. So yeah, definitely. In every country, it's different. I mean, now I just finished this weekend in Finland, and Finland has been also, I mean, really between Sweden. I mean, Finland was occupied by Sweden, and then it was occupied by Russia, and then there was like the Germans coming in. So there's like, when I go like in these interviews, I'm saying, okay, I'm often asking this question, what do you remember? What is known from the family history that heavy things happened to you? And 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 then it is like really reflected, like the really hard things that happened in war, but not only in war. I mean, like um, of course, like when I worked in Iceland, there was like, or especially like the Icelandic people, there's also really intense things happened. I mean, due just to the hardship of the like the weather or like family tragedies, or I mean, there's like really you don't need a war to have like to go through challenges and hardship. So yeah. It relates a lot to history, to the collective history, and then how the collective history like um in a way plays out in the family. Because you can have also families like let's say in Germany where you there could be like a grandfather who did not have to go to war, and then for some reason, maybe because he was like I don't know, uh, working in the I don't know in the driving a train or whatever he was doing, and then it can be like a family can be spared from something. Yeah. So it's very different patterns in every country. Yeah, very much.
Mhm. Yeah, I find this interesting because often in the theater we get like directors from Europe, and they I just feel that like in the family constellation, it was amazing to see how visible it was in the in your work. This energy of the Second World War or these wars. When these people come and work with us in the theaters, um, they talk about us Icelanders that we are so like okay, maybe this is not interesting, but it is like we are not afraid that our neighbor will squeal on us or do something against us because we this has not been our big thing. Our big thing has been the nature connection with nature and maybe inside families. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they have the untrust between people.
Yes.
So the directors from abroad that work with us, they often say that you say to an Icelandic actor, go to the back of the stage and walk up to and go up to the fixed mountain there. And the Icelandic actor does it and jumps off the mountain and just flaps on his stomach and goes further with it. But if you would say it to a Lithuanian actor, the Lithuanian actor, he would say, why? Why
Hmm.
would I go back to the States?
Yeah.
Why would I walk up this mountain? Tell me
Yeah.
why. So
Yeah.
it's this they feel like a very different energetic, and I think it is like in our roots of like
Yes.
why should I not trust the director?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
Ah, yeah,
but
that's so interesting. Yeah.
for a European, it was like why would I trust this director?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this I've been often think about, and this I think makes us Icelanders like kind of naive in a way, or like clowns, like just very open and just trusty. But then we have the hit, when we realize that somebody actually you can't trust them because people have things in their bags, something like this. Yeah. So this I was wondering if you feel this difference, or if you feel different things like this, in Sweden. They have this great welfare for so many years, and they played out like yeah, like a national energy. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
interested in as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like you say, maybe may it be Lithuania or Poland or like or East Germany, where there was like people were like ruled by authoritarian regimes for
Mhm.
so many years, and then there might be freedom now, but then it's like really so deeply stuck in the families and in the people that there is like this questioning of authority and the mistrust. And so this is, yeah, very much different from countries and then also from families, because again, people can be affected by it more or less, or people can have also in history different positions relating to certain regimes or not, and being like damaged by it in different ways, depending on where you have been in relation to it, you know.
Mhm.
Like there can be family histories also where people not only have been victims of regimes, but of course, like they were also the perpetrators in regimes.
Mhm.
And so it's like I think I want to like refer all of that to something that we talked about before we started the recording, to how there is a similarity in the constellation work to like a script work, or to like to create a script or a plot. Because if I think the thing that I do a lot in the constellation work by the questions that I have is to look um, into the life script of the person. Like, what is actually the structure, the trauma, the wounds of the family that create a certain, let's say, configuration of the personality, of the identity, and how things play out in life. It's a bit like in the script work, you like want to write a script, and I think in the constellation work, I want to investigate the current script and see how I can how I can support the change of the configuration to find a new path that is where there's less stress and less agitation in it. So yeah, it's
I
nice.
find
Yeah.
I thought I saw that when you were listening, I really felt like, wow, he's like an author, like taking these strings and see how the story makes sense, which storyline to follow. It was really, I thought like, wow, this would be very effective, deep work for like authors and creators to go
Yeah.
into this to see how you use the energy. And also because in the theater, for example, we are always making the feelings bigger or taking them more extreme, but you always tell us like, no, only show 2%, 2%. And
Hmm.
then so we don't take over because the otherwise the energy will just take over the space, you know. So
Yeah.
I that found also fascinating in the work, but still the energy was there, but you're not showing, but like, and then you ask, you know, what are you
Yeah.
feeling, this character or that character, something like this. But can you, I'm wondering, can you also work with the future? Like pretending, like if I have a question like, what is going to happen in my future? Could I like have questions, bring that to the family constellation?
Um,
I'm
mm.
afraid of what will happen in my career or something like this. Could I bring something like this to the table?
I mean, I'm like, I feel even I've been progressing over the last years, like kind of like traditionally the especially like the classical family constellation work that I have also studied. It works a lot or mainly with the history, like what was the fate of the parents, of the grandparents, and so on, and how does it affect us now. I have like progressively over the last years started to actually, if I think about last weekend, to always include what is the orientation of your life. Like that, I'm always now asking the person, how would you, what is a title you would give to what the future is? And then you can say like, this is the new path or the new, and then we bring a representative also for the new. Even if a person is saying, I really don't know how things are evolving, but I feel that something new is on the horizon, and we bring in the new. And by just I mean, I personally feel, and this is my perspective, that we can, with this work, not only access the past, but also access the potential of the future. And so it's often very surprising and interesting to see if you bring in a representative for something that might unfold, that there can be like yeah, really interesting surprises because then this person maybe that has been called in for the new works in a way that really brings an epiphany or a new perspective to that person. So I'm actually doing this more and more now because I also um, I also realized that especially if there's something really heavy has happened in the family, at some point it's like really good to move away from this, and it's so easy to be like, ah, yeah, it's so heavy what happened to us, and to go again into this collapse of the heaviness. But then, yeah, I try to really guide people into this openness for the new, and that there can be really, especially if you have an identity that is so like rooted in that everything is bad and like nothing makes sense and unhappiness to have like a fresh light into that. So yeah, it's very
Okay.
possible, and I'm doing this more and more. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I did that with you last time. It was very
yeah,
nice. We had
yes,
the
yes,
old me and the new, and the new me was really like, you know, she needed to be allowed to come in, and you know, it was really like I thought it was very, for me, it was surprising how you put it up. You know,
yes.
and it was, it really gave me energy or hope into the months to come.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, this is what I wanted to ask you. I think I'm through what I had put on paper to ask you. I mean, but I could go further, but I have to go to work.
Yeah, no, we close it here. I think it was yeah, nice talk, and
Yes.
I'm like,
I'll meet you in Eden next week on Monday, Tuesday. Will you have like an open introduction in Eden?
yes, yes. On next Tuesday and on the 8th, in 8 o'clock, there will be a gathering, most likely about the topic of self-love. So everybody who comes will get a little taste of the work with their own relation to their own self and to love. And so it's a nice opportunity to get to know the work. And yeah, we
Okay.
will gather there. Yes,
Okay, super nice. I look so forward to come again to your. I was like I say, I was totally fascinated by your work.
super.
Yeah, I thought it was so deep, and I was really like, wow, this I don't need to learn. I just show up at Andreas family constellation.
Okay,
I can be good
super.
at what I'm good at, and you are good at what you are good at. Okay, so
Okay, so.
thank you for
Yeah,
this.
thank you for this conversation and the recording now. And